The following program is presented in its original form. It may contain some content that does not reflect Hirotaku or Raju Nihon's corporate views and may not be suitable for all viewers. WRW characters are online nerds with entitlement issues and believe that they have a say in anything produced by their worship. You can block access to all programs and others like it using the parental controls in your WRW accounts. Wait a minute, we don't have those. And it's WRW's Not So Live show for NXT Takeover. Unstoppable. I, of course, am the Visible Ninja, your eternal and most greatest wrestling fan in the universe. Undisputed. And joining me is the slightly less known Undisputed title holder. It's Wheelchair 21.
And you can go to hell, good sir. You can go to hell. Starting off this show, great, why don't you?
I am already there, good sir. I'm already there. Anyways, yeah, we got the next NXT Takeover, which is great. Which is kind of a bummer, you know, with that little debacle a month or so ago, saying that they'd go monthly, only for them to go back to being, you know, quarterly, which kind of sucks, but hey, you know, you can't let the, you know, the only good thing about your company right now outshine the things that make you the most bucks.
Well, isn't it that they are still monthly because we had one last month? We did have a takeover last month, or what? I thought we had one.
I do not recall us having a takeover last month.
Okay, so it's just going by quarter.
It's quarterly, so pretty much every 3 months we'll have a takeover.
Aw, I want one at least bi-monthly.
You never know, you might just get your wish. We'll have to see. Anyways, yeah, we got the final card for tonight, and we're just going to have a quick run through it, giving our predictions. And then we're going to cut to the end of the show, since we're recording this just slightly before it goes on the air. Afterwards, then we'll talk about how right or wrong we were in the end. Let's start off with the NXT Divas match everyone's waiting for, or at least myself and the chair are waiting for. Namely, Emma and Dana Brooke versus Bayley and Charlotte in a bit of a grudge match. So what do you think about this one, Chair?
This one's kind of interesting, nonetheless, of how they brought this match together. Dana Brooke is brand new to the roster, but she's kind of the hot shit. But you then have Emma and Bayley who've had their rivalry. So kind of interjecting both Charlotte and Dana is interesting. I guess they didn't want to give 3 Diva matches, so they just combined 2 into 1. Mm-hmm. So you would still have your women's bout for the night. Seeing this as a tag match, I don't see the faces winning this match. I see most likely Charlotte getting screwed as Bayley and Emma fight towards the back or chase each other towards the back, and Dana overstepping and beating Charlotte, allowing them to have a rivalry. I'm pretty sure that's what this match is really going to be about, is highlighting the fact that Dana Brooke may be in a rivalry with Charlotte after the fact for this takeover, leading into the next takeover later in summer. The whole rivalry with Bayley and Emma, I feel like this should have just been a basic singles match. But then again, I think they're probably going to leave it to a basic NXT show so they can maybe main event, since NXT allows women's matches to main event. We did have yet a women's match, main event Raw, but it was overshadowed by the whole Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins cashing in of a dream or something like that.
Yeah.
Architect of a dream. So, I mean, you can't really say that, because like even Steph even says now that like the outro promo is even bigger than the main event itself at times.
Yeah, well, it's whatever the show. Yeah, it's whatever the show finishes with. It doesn't matter if it's a match or a promo. Whatever goes last is always going to be kind of the cap on the show.
Yeah. So, I feel like that might be the thing with Emma and Bayley, because like I don't really know where the storyline's going, except that Emma's jilted and she's trying to supposedly teach Bayley a needed lesson that isn't really so needed. So it's more or less a storyline to make. It's pretty much a storyline to make Bayley tougher. So I think the faces are going to lose. So Emma and Dana Brooke are going to win.
You know, yeah, I'm going to jump in here and say I get the feeling, just because like some of the things you said. We've got Dana Brooke, who is kind of coming off a lot of good positive heat positive heat for a heel regardless. But anyway, since she is building herself as, like we said, the complete total diva. And it was probably a smart idea to kind of try to have her trying to ride the show's coattails, since sadly it is one of the most watched programs on the WWE network next to NXT itself. But still, it's a good idea. I mean, the little that we've seen of her, you know, she hasn't really had too many matches so far, but she...
2.
Yeah, I'm just saying though, she definitely seems like she's powerful and she could be a legitimate threat. So it's good that they're starting to build her up, and this is going to be her first really big match, teaming her up with Emma, who's obviously an NXT veteran, but is also kind of coming back kind of with her tail between her legs from the main roster since she was fairly underutilized there. And having her be maybe a little bitter about it was a good idea. Having them team up against Bayley, who was always, I don't want to say childish, but very positive, very bubbly.
She's like a puppy. She's adorable, but yet she's more like an ugly puppy.
That's a matter of opinion. I think she doesn't look too bad, but
Everything but her face. She's a butterface.
let's just say when she's not wearing that pigtail, she looks a lot better. But
Butterface.
whatever. And obviously, Charlotte's the hot shit as it is, regardless. I mean, she is a Flair after all. And she's apparently going to get a proper debut on the main roster sometime soon after that weird aborted launch that they tried to do, having, Natty squash her. So, yeah.
That was an amazing squash, if I ever said so. And I thought that was John Cena level.
That was a Cena level squash. Yeah, we're having the Hearts, squash a Flair, and I didn't think I'd say that too often, but...
Oh, God. Flares are usually made to put over Hearts.
Yeah. Woo! Anyways...
and that's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Hashtag fact.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, I think we're going to call this one for Emma and Dana Brooke then. Moving on, we have Baron Corbin versus Rhino.
Okay. This match, Visible Ninja, this match right here, dude. Big hype. It was subtle hinted that Rhino was either going against Balor or Corbin, and it's been building up for the last 3 months since Rhino's return. And I gotta say, I've liked the subtle hints. I know you just came in right when they started fully prominently telling us who Rhino was going after, because Rhino was kind of cryptic. It was kind of almost Bray Wyatt-esque when he mentioned this person that he was going after, and we thought it was Balor. Even when I was telling Visible Ninja right before he got the network, it was going to be Balor. We found out it's freaking Baron Corbin, which is just as badass, especially because of, Baron Corbin runs through people like they ain't shit. He's like NXT Goldberg, but with the Undertaker build.
This really is kind of the clash of two irresistible forces, I guess you could call. Because we've got essentially the NXT version of Goldberg going up against a guy who's not Goldberg but has a similar MO.
ECW's greatest asset.
Yeah, he's kind of the ECW distaff counterpart to Goldberg. He pretty much does the same shit. He'll run straight through you, he'll gore your ass, he'll spear you, and he'll take you down and take you down hard. And Rhino's really been cleaning house in NXT ever since he arrived, which has been great. And I'm interested to see who's going to win this clash. I don't know. I get the feeling Corbin's probably going to walk away with this, but hey, they might have him lose to Rhino to build up something better. So
yeah, and what's funny is Corbin has only lost technically 2 matches, one via a double count out, which was technically a draw. He's had a draw. He's had two losses. One was unofficial, I think, because Bull Dempsey interfered and fucked up his 7-match debut win streak.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think he lost legitimately in a tournament for the NXT Championship #1 contender, something like that. So I gotta say, I really like this guy. There's something about this guy that has a lot of the it factor. I feel like he looks menacing. He has the tattoo and his wardrobe matches his whole body structure, having the tights, having the weird kind of biker look. So I really feel like this guy is, like I said, I try to say he's kind of like an Undertaker kind of character, but at the same time, his agility and athleticism also overcasts Undertaker's heyday right before he went to the biker mode. So it's I feel like this guy has the right structure for something that is phenom level. I see that in him. I also see he has a lot of athleticism, people like Test, Matt Morgan, where they're a guy that's so big that honestly shouldn't be able to do some of the stuff they've been able to do. But it works, and I think he's going to beat Rhino. And if he doesn't beat Rhino in this match, that's even more shocking. but they are really building it up that Rhino is here to put Corbin over, if anything. He's here to help put Corbin over. So there might be a loss tonight for Corbin, but he's probably going to get the rematch, like a huge, amazing rematch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to work. It really works. I would love this. I think these guys are in a regular singles match, but I would love to see this in a straight-out Extreme Rules match. And that's what I think it will lead into. Like, Corbin will lose tonight, and then on a main event on a basic NXT show, it will be Extreme Rules, and there might be blood.
Let's hope so. Anyways, moving on. Next up, we have a triple threat for the #1 contendership to the NXT title between Hideo Itami, Finn Balor, and Tyler Breeze.
Okay, well, with Hideo Itami injured, he will he's pulled from the card, I've heard.
Well, he's still listed on the card I have, but he might just be down. Yeah, it might just be down just to a singles match for the #1 contendership then.
But there is that possibility of the Great Samoa Joe appearing.
Yeah, if he's gonna appear anytime, yeah, that would be the time. Especially if he's gonna be a replacement for Itami.
And honestly, I've seen his match with Itami back when he was by his original name, Kenta, and that's a beautiful fucking match. Amazing matches. But I would love to see Joe make his debut tonight and win the match. I highly doubt he will, because there is some talks that he might not be showing up now. So if anything, if it's Balor versus Breeze has been kind of at the... I feel like Breeze at the bottom of the shaft, like getting really screwed over, because he's had multiple #1 contenderships before, like Sami Zayn, and he's never been able to pull the trigger off to get the actual win when it came to the belt itself. So I feel like he deserves to win, and I feel like he deserves to win the belt. However, seeing that he's going against one of the NXT 5, as Project RDM and I believe the IWC are calling them, I really think Balor is going to get it, because they want to get most of the NXT 5 to have the big NXT beautiful gold belt before they come up to the main roster. That's why Zayn dropped it fast to Owens, and Owens is maybe going to drop it back tonight. We don't know yet. We'll talk about that a little bit more later in our predictions. But I feel like, if anything, all three men deserve a win. If Hideo is able to win, or if he's replaced by Joe, all three men deserve to win. But if Joe debuts, Joe's going to win. Other than that, I feel like Balor might actually have this match. I don't really think Breeze can beat Balor.
Yeah. All we really have is speculation going in about Hideo, because we really don't know what's happening with him. But by what I'm seeing, he most likely will not be in the match. So it's just a question of whether or not Joe's going to fill his place or not. I'm going to say, if it turns out he doesn't and this just becomes a singles match, I'm going to say that Balor's probably going to take it, because like you said, Breeze has kind of been getting screwed over recently. So I don't see the NXT gold in his immediate future. But, hey, whatever. But going to Balor would be great, too, to become #1 contendership. But yeah, if Joe shows up, he's going to take it, because they're going to want to position him to be, the next huge threat for whoever has the belt at the end of the night. So it's kind of that kind of caveat where if Joe shows up, it'll be him. Otherwise, it'll probably go to Balor. So at least that's what I think.
Yeah, indubitably.
Next up, we have the NXT Tag Team Title match with the certified G and the bona fide thug Enzo Amore and 7-foot-tall Big Cass, along with hot as hell Carmella, no doubt, against Blake and Murphy.
You really are loving their intro.
Yeah, it's very nice, because you're soft. Anyways.
You are really digging. Oh. You are really getting into this team, which is shocking.
It's Ed versus Blake and Murphy. So yeah, who's going to take it? Is it Team Soft, or is it Team B&M?
I'm pretty sure the Gangbang Warriors, Blake and Murphy, as I like to jokingly say, because they may or may not have said they wanted to run a train on Carmella and got away with that on NXT before. I'm pretty sure they said it, or at least they insinuated it. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna win. I don't see why Cass and Enzo are gonna win it right now, but honestly, they are the guys to take the belts from them, because there's no tag teams right now in NXT.
Pretty much, yeah, unless Lucha Dragons come back down.
So like, I see
Yeah.
it being them taking. Okay, so I see it as them taking the belts. Honestly, I straight up see them taking the belts. Maybe not tonight, but maybe it could be possible. Yes, no, maybe. But I kind
I
of feel like Jake and Murphy are going to retain for a little
yeah, I
while.
get what you're saying. Yeah, I'm pretty much gonna say the same thing. Like, as much as I love the team of Enzo and Cass, yeah, Blake and Murphy are gonna hang on to it for a little bit longer at least. I smell a rematch probably at a normal show, which they might lose it. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to see, especially after Enzo and Big Cass are taking off, before their last match they were supposed to have. So yeah, they're gonna want to come back, but I don't think they'll quite pull it off tonight. So yeah, well. So called for Blake and Murphy. Next up is the NXT Women's match of the surprise winner, Becky Lynch, against Sasha Banks. Because we called this for Bayley, but it wound up going to Becky Lynch. So there you go.
All right. I want to ask you, Visible Ninja,
Yeah.
who do you think's going to be the victor?
I don't know. Becky has quite a bit of heat coming into this. I mean, she's really been hitting it off recently, like we said. Because when we were watching that match to determine who's going to face Sasha here, we thought Bayley was going to cinch it. We did for whatever reason, but no, Becky took it. And you know what? Don't get me wrong. Sasha is a fucking talented as hell woman. Like whenever she gets up to the main roster, she's going to clean house, but. I don't know. Becky is definitely going to give her a run for her money, I get the feeling. And either way, this match is not going to end prettily. It's not going to end well for one of these women. But
I gotta say I don't think Sasha's gonna lose, but I do think Becky is good footing.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, Sasha has to lose the title eventually, and I think that day is coming sooner rather than later, but I don't think it's going to be tonight. I mean, Becky, once again, a lot of good heat coming into this, but I don't think enough to put her over.
Exactly, because I myself think that I don't really see Becky Lynch as a good ring performer right now. Like she's changed quite a bit since she's debuted, like she said, but I don't see her material just yet. Just like I don't really see Bayley as good material either. Like I feel like they're the odd couple sort of the division.
Okay.
That's what I can say.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess we're calling it for Sasha. Okay. And last but not least, the NXT title match, the much-awaited Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Or as I like to call it, Kill Steen Kill.
Kill Steen
So
Kill.
yeah, but here's the
Steen,
thing
kill.
though, Zayn's coming off a pretty bad injury though, but do you think he'll be able to stand up to Owens though, or will Owens just beat his ass down and take him out like easily for a win?
I'm gonna say with the injury now, I don't think this is gonna be a really good match. With the injury, I don't know how bad it is or what really.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, not to invoke the the name that who shall not be spoken when it comes to NXT, Cena. Yeah, I mean, Zayn pulled off a good match against Cena back 2 weeks ago in Montreal. Because getting some hometown hype going, with the help of Bret Hart, but still, Zayn gave it all. But you could definitely tell that injury was kind of hindering him. And yeah, let's just say Zayn put up a good fight, but Cena was still able to take him down, and we didn't get a grade A level thumping like we got this week when when Owen showed up and kicked Cena's ass. So yeah, the injury's probably going to play into it. So again, I'd love Zayn to get it, but yeah, Owens is probably going to retain. And yeah, like you said, I get the feeling it's not going to be match of the night, even though it's most likely the main event. It is the main event. Still.
I really hope they still put on a great match, because the hype going into this was going to be Zayn was going to at least give Owens a run for his money, and possibly get the belt back. Now that he is injured, and with that rivalry with Owens and Cena on the main roster, word is Owens will retain, or if he does lose tonight, there might be a possibility of a Cena screw job. Cena might show up down at NXT to psych him out.
That would be trollish.
And from what else I hear is atop of that now visible. They want to have Owens at least keep the belt for the Elimination Chamber match. That's what I keep hearing. So it looks even greater for NXT is having Cena versus the NXT champion for his belt at the event in 2 weeks, or a week from Sunday. So I don't know. I believe it's still going to stay with Owens, like you say.
Yeah, that's still how I see it coming down in the end, but hey, who knows? In the end, I guess we'll find out fairly soon, since NXT Takeover Unstoppable starts, well, pretty soon. Anyways,
we have an hour and 30 minutes, roughly, yes.
Anyways, so we'll leave you here temporarily, and we'll be picking up right after the cut with our results. Welcome to the second half of NXT Takeover Unstoppable coverage on WRW. Now we've just seen the pay-per-view and it was awesome. Well, it was a special, not a pay-per-view, with the network and all. But regardless, we'll run down whether or not we were correct in our predictions and what we thought. And first off, Chair, let's talk about that just killer entrance by both Finn Balor and overall the great match he had against, Tyler Breeze, which he was able to pull out for a victory. Although, unfortunately, Hideo Itami was absent. But they bullshitted it was because of, Owens. So, yeah. So what'd you think of the first match?
Yeah, that first match. The entrances were amazing. They were probably the highlight of the night.
Totally.
God freaking damn. I liked how Breeze came out with his little red fur cape. I like how Balor had his little whole Rastafarian Treadmasters Rodan, as I like to call it. Like, that was just sheer beautiful. Just sheer freaking beauty. And I loved the entrances. It was great. And I like the entrances. I like the matches, too. It was really rough and brash. Like, these guys went back and forth. They were brutal. They were destructive. And, like, when you watch, Balor now or Hideo Itami now in the WWE, they're still performing pretty indie-like, or at least pretty pro-wrestle-ish, and it's very hard to fathom Breeze stepping up to that level. But seeing Breeze wrestle these guys now, you're just like, this is shocking, it's astonishing, and it makes for great television, because there's the WWE ethics of how you do things, and then there's the pro-wrestle ways, and that's what NXT kind of feels like. I think Oga described it best, where it's like to get the indie out of people, but like, the people that you've never seen do some of the crap that they've done and see them doing it now because of the more people they're bringing into the company, amazing. It was a pretty stellar start, pretty awesome beginning, and I'm just like sitting here going, Breeze deserves a title run eventually.
Totally.
Like, come on.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you because, like you said, yeah, the entrances were pretty out there. I gotta agree. I like Breeze kind of fashion model-ish kind of thing, which definitely fits with such a freaking giant narcissist the guy is. And this entrance is actually broadcast live on those cell phones that his models were holding via the Periscope app. So there's an interesting little bit of a social media twist to it. But Balor, yeah, he was straight out a creature. Not to mention, whoever did his body paint, they better get a freaking award for that shit tonight.
That motherfucker.
Yeah, like a monster eye seemingly bursting out of his back in addition to his usual, like, demon mouth kind of thing. He also had some, like, demonic hands reaching out of his, like, belt line towards his midriff. That was just, nah. Not to mention, it looked like his legs had been all slashed up by, like, claws. Oh.
Yeah, no, it was great. Like, it looked like that there was really a demon inside of him trying to come out. I was like, shit, is he a Jinchuriki? Somebody call Naruto.
References. Yeah, but the match itself, though, it was spectacular. Like, I gotta agree. Like, this had some future matches not outshine this one. This was a clear front runner for match of the night because it was just phenomenal. It was just high energy from the get-go, and these two guys were just wailing on each other like nobody's business.
Yeah, I just gotta say it was a really stellar opening match, and I'm glad we called who was gonna win. Like, we kind of foresaw it was gonna be Balor.
Yeah, Balor.
Because Balor does crazy stuff.
And of course, a certain somebody didn't show up during this match like we figured, but we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about later, yeah.
Anyways, let's move on to our, other kind of ineffectual match for the evening, more or less. Baron Corbin versus Rhino. And honestly, I called this wrong. I thought Rhino was going to get it. But no, Baron Corbin pulled it off.
Really destructive. I mean, Corbin was doing a lot that we rarely see him do, and we don't really get to see much since he closes out matches within less than a minute. So, this match was a make-or-break match for him, and what him and Rhino went through really helped to build his career rather than, strengthening Rhino's return. It really was one of those ones where it was Rhino came back because they wanted him to help boost this guy and other wrestlers like Baron Corbin, and it proved effective. It really did. It was really great. I think one of the best tweets out of the night was, "The Rhino has gone extinct."
Ooh. Burn. Oh, yeah, I gotta agree with you. No, again, like you said, these are two destructive guys, and they definitely had at it, but it was a bit less of a kind of two opposing forces meeting each other like I hoped it was. I was hoping there would be widespread damage all over the freaking arena, but I mean, we still got a decent match out of it, but it could have been a lot better, but you know what, I've seen far worse on NXT.
If there's a rematch, I'm really pushing for an Extreme Rules.
Yeah, because you really got to let these guys just freaking let loose. You really do. Okay, next up is, it was actually the second match, but I kind of skipped over it, was Emma and Dana Brooke versus Bayley and Charlotte. And to our surprise, Charlotte actually managed to get a pin on Emma for the win.
Yeah, did not see that coming. Did not see the faces winning this match. Really felt like this was going to be, a thing to help hype Dana Brooke. Really, really was. But I think Dana Brooke walked out and left Emma. That's why. It was the variable I didn't see happening. Mm-hmm. And also, did you notice there was a little bit of HLA going on with Dana Brooke's entrance with her and Emma?
Let's just say Emma was definitely making sure to highlight Dana's, shall we say, bulging. Yeah, her muscles. I'm sure there's nothing. I'm sure it's. I don't know if they just told Emma to kind of highlight how strong Dana is supposed to be, or if they maybe, gave her different directions, or maybe just Emma did that herself. Who knows? But it was a bit weird, yeah.
Maybe they were going with the whole sexualization that Dana Brooke has been putting off on herself. How she makes her entrances to the ring.
That's that could be a factor too. So. There you go.
Because it is kind of very, what would the term be? Burlesque?
Kind of.
How she moves her hips and,
Regardless, Regardless, this match was actually fairly solid. It was, once again, like most matches with Charlotte are pretty good. Bayley put in some decent work too, but ultimately it was Charlotte who kind of was the star and nailed the pin. Dana wasn't spectacular. She wasn't horrible either, and Emma was, Emma, plus she got, pinned, so.
Well, and I'm not haven't really got a good grasp on yet. She's only had 3 matches.
like I said, she wasn't horrible, but she wasn't great either. And Emma was her usual self, but yeah, we got losing Emma. And plus, I wasn't a fan of her choice of ring gear tonight either. That red just does not suit.
It suits her. It suits her quite well.
No, it does not, good sir. No, it does not.
It does too. It does.
No, it does not.
It does.
No, it does not.
It does.
Well, we could argue back and forth like that for hours, but regardless, yeah, Charlotte and Bayley walk out with the double. Regardless. And, all for Bayley fumbling, passing out candy to people during her entrance. So, good job, Bayley. Good job.
Piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Okay, next up was the NXT Tag Title match of Enzo Amore and Big Cass versus Blake and Murphy. And, like I believe we both predicted, Blake and Murphy retained. Though Enzo and Big Cass actually did pull some good moves. In the end, they were actually screwed by Alexa Bliss, who more or less came out to spite Carmella, as they have a currently running rivalry, so...
And it's weird, you know, Carmella is hated by the fans and booed, but loved when she's technically with Enzo and Cass. Alexa Bliss is loved by the fans, and everyone hates Blake and Murphy, and Alexa Bliss went heel, and I'm just sitting here like, what? Confused?
Yeah, I'll admit, I didn't see them pulling that card.
I saw them pulling the card, but I didn't think it was going to happen.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't think that they'd have Alexa come in and again screw over Team Soft here just because of her rivalry with Carmella, but they did. But like I said, it was a swerve I didn't see coming. And
I did, but I just didn't want to.
Well, unfortunately, Enzo and Cass are going to have to go after the tag titles another day. But you know, again, match could have been better, and it ended, you know, with a bit of a screw job. But it was it's all right. Next up was probably, I think, one of the highlights of the evening was the NXT women's tag match of Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks, and this match was fiery from the get-go, especially.
Women's tag match instead of women's champ match.
I meant women's championship match. I did say tag match. Women's championship match. And it helps with Becky having some fiery new ring attire, definitely steampunkish, along with some nice orange highlights in her hair, which is ironic since we got the battle of the purple versus the orange, since obviously Sasha has purple hair. So yeah. So what did you think about the battle of the women? I thought this was I thought this was a strong contender for match of the night.
This one really went to war with the men's opening bout. Like, these two were probably the highlights of the entire card, I would say. The opening match and this women's bout. I don't think it's anywhere like Sasha versus Charlotte was at TakeOver back in, December? Mm-hmm. But it was still good enough. It was pretty decent. But some of it just, I didn't really feel a lot of it, and I think it was just because of... I feel like Becky's still a little too green in WWE standards than Sasha is. So they really worked a stiff match. It was a really stiff match, but it was just there was something about it that I also didn't keep my eye on it at times. I think it was also because since it was very stiff, part of it did get kind of stale in the middle at points, but it still was really good. I can't get a good grasp of the match, but I know I enjoy the hell out of it.
Well, again, I really did enjoy it because, like I said, these two, once again, they started off strong, and they definitely knew how to work each other pretty good because we got some decent suplexes from both sides, especially from Becky, who was actually able to pull some Brock Lesnar-esque Germans out of her hat, which was interesting, especially since the crowd started chanting Suplex City, so... I thought that was pretty cool. Plus, especially when Sasha kind of started hurting her arm there, Becky definitely knew what to go for. And she even one time was even trying to hyperextend it using only her feet, which I thought was just spectacular, actually. And she actually, I'm pretty sure she almost had Sasha in that great arm lock, but of course she was able to get to the ropes and break it. So yeah, and in the end, you know, Becky did end up getting bank statemented and having to tap out, so Sasha would retain, but. It was amazing because Becky actually got a standing ovation after Sasha left. Like, the crowd was just clapping and going nuts for her. So even though Becky came into this not very with a lot of heat behind her, but not over, she came. Even though she lost, she's over with the crowd now.
I'm not saying she went to war with Sasha, but she went to war with Sasha.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just because of how savagely she was going after Sasha and how she had her within maybe an inch of making her tap out, and just that fiery kind of new attitude. It was quite good. Plus, like I said, she had some interesting ring attire too, which maybe helped. But
Yeah, I think it was her steampunk, Mad Max kind of wardrobe.
Oh yeah, goggles, kind of weird, kind of scorch, kind of frivolous thing going on there. Yeah, but once again, very solid match for the gals, and this match went on for far longer than I thought it was going to. Like, I even at one point commented that I think like this match exceeded the length of all Divas matches in 2014 on the main roster put together. Okay, that's probably a bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, this match went on for quite a while for, a Divas match, which up until recently, I mean, yeah, WWE's definitely improving, with the Give Divas a Chance movement, but yeah, it was just great, and it was a long, nice match that really told a story that, Becky won't give no shit to Sasha, but, Sasha is still the boss. Definitely, but of course we got to talk about the main event, Zayn versus Owens II, and when we talk about wars, this was a war, good sir.
This was a war of attrition.
This was the battle. This was the Battle of Quebec, good sir.
The Battle of Quebec in Florida.
Exactly. Because Quebec can't fight their differences on their own turf. They got to go to Florida and do it.
And they don't want to fight in cold weather. I can't blame them.
Yeah. But still, once again, dynamite match. These guys were just freaking wailing on each other, dropping bombs left and right. Unfortunately, Zayn's injury started catching up with him to the point where they pretty much had to stop the match with even Regal trying to, get Owens to back off. But, of course, this has pissed off Owens with, the crowd fueling his rage, and he was about ready to probably end Zayn's life when Godzilla appeared.
We mean Samoa Joe.
Yeah, well...
Because, if you say Godzilla enough, Toho might sue.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, so Mojo appeared, and he's definitely slimmed down since I saw him last in TNA, and I know he's been in ROH since then. But yeah, he's definitely, I think he's put on a little more bulk, and he's definitely lost a bit of weight, so.
Yeah, let's just say when his music hit, I was like, oh yeah, come on, fight, and then they did not fight. They did not fight, they did not. Owens kind of just ran like a bitch.
That's pretty much how the match started. He just kind of got some space to kind of surveys.
Yeah, he got some space. Then him and Zayn brawled out. Then he beat Zayn until the match had to be called off. And then Joe came to save the day.
Pretty much. And yeah, we had a pretty epic stare down there at the end before Owens backed off. So yeah, we've just set up something that's going to be awesome.
Yep.
Oh, Lord, okay. So, as a whole, what did you think of NXT Takeover Unstoppable? Just, like, kind of all lumped together.
Oh, man, this event had a lot of great matches. This felt like NXT. This felt like a pure indie show, but wasn't. It was really well done. Really well presented. I think the only flaw in the show overall was the women's tag match. I honestly think that this show was a really decent 9. Not a 10, but a 9.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, this show was definitely top drawer. There was some, like I said, good but not great matches. The tag championship match definitely turned into that, especially with Alexa Bliss interfering at the end. I mean, the match itself was okay. The Rhino match, once again, good but not great. I'm sure there's going to be some more of that rivalry coming down the pipe. The NXT Divas tag match, good. We didn't really see Charlotte pulling a win out of that one, but. Hey, I'm sure Dana Brooke isn't going to let that one lie down. Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, just freaking phenomenal, just fantastic, and it's good that Becky's over with the crowd now because she really deserved it. Of course, then, well, yeah, the number one contendership, yeah, let's just say Balor's coming. And he's got
a second.
Yeah, well, yeah, and he's got, a dragon eye on his back now, so watch it.
Yeah, well, don't forget, this will be his second run at the belt, and
yeah.
Will Owens be the champ when he finally,
Will he?
signs the contract for his number one contendership match? That's the question.
And then, of course, the main event we had to talk about, which was a war to end all wars, which kind of got icky, but then, a kaiju appeared and let them fight.
Yeah, so, like I said, either by the next time we see Balor challenge for the championship since he is number one contender, he may be facing Samoa Joe, maybe. Or Sami Zayn or Owens.
Oh, yeah. We can only hope, good sir. We can only hope.
And I can only figure that if Balor does win the belt from whoever the next man may be, it will be dropped to Hideo Itami when he returns from his shoulder injury.
Yeah. Yeah, but if I had to give this out of 10, I'd probably give it an 8.5. Again, great show. Couple hitches, but in all, a great show. Anyways, thanks for tuning in to our WRW Not So Live coverage of NXT Takeover Unstoppable. I'm, of course, the Visible Ninja. You can catch me on Twitter at Visible Ninja 1, Instagram Visible Ninja 0, and YouTube at Visible Ninja, where I review toys and model kits and some such nonsense like that.
I am his co-host and show co-creator, Wheelchair21, which you can check me out here on YouTube at Wheelchair21, Twitter, Wheelchair21, and Instagram is not Wheelchair21. Some schmo already took it and doesn't even use his Instagram account anymore. So one day when that account does get shut down, I will take that name back. However, at this time, I am Taja_Doyle.
Excellent.
Anyways, you can also check out WRW the Podcast on its own official Twitter
channel. At WRW the Podcast, by the way.
Exactly. Which you can probably find on our channel.
Also follow our Also follow our parent site and all around great place HeroTaku.com and on Twitter at HeroTakuComs. That somebody already had HeroTaku because people like to do that to us. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, folks, and we'll see you next time here on We Rule Wrestling.